All right, welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's trading recap from March 1st to March 5th. If you're watching this, you survived the week. Man, we had some really aggressive sell-offs in the growth market, and because of that, I'm really happy to only be down $244 on the week, just about 0.5% on my total account. If you've been following me before this week, you know that I've been trading very light. Had that SQQQ hedge, which was the notable winner of the week. And I came into this week, as I told you guys, not trying to make money, just trying to find what was working. And it was pretty obvious that nothing was working. So when nothing's working, when all my test buys that I'll be covering today, when those are going against me and stopping me out, I know to just get smaller and smaller on my position sizes, not to try to fight the pullback, not to try to just buy randomly into a dip that just keeps on dipping. So because of those defensive trading rules, was able to come out of this week only down 0.5%. Now we're down about 4.5% from the account balance highs. Not too bad considering many of the stocks that I typically trade are down 40 to 50% this last 2-3 week period. So I will take that. That is exactly why I trade so defensively. If I'm going to trade the most aggressive growth names, I got to be that aggressive with my risk management. So if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the stock trading content that I'll share today, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We're 25 subscribers away from 5,000. That would be awesome if we could hit that over the weekend. I would really appreciate that. You guys can follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok as well. If you're coming here for a specific stock, the timestamp for those stocks will be in the comments. All right, yeah, notable winners, SQQQ. That was obviously going to pay out. Had 5.8% on apps just because I sold some into strength and stopped it at even. We'll cover that in a little bit. And then FRHS and CELH, typically I have stops at 7%. At the most for my entry point, and I did have stops at 7%, but things were selling off so aggressively, some of those slipped my stops and got me out a little bit lower. So we'll be covering all of those and more. Quick agenda, we'll go over the market, how that's shaping up. Quick look at the Tik Tok Trading Challenge, another ugly week, unfortunately. Quick look at the two watch lists. As I said, going into the week, they were truly just watch lists, not really much to trade off of. And then go through what I'm currently holding and my past trades this week. Quick disclaimer, nothing that I say is financial or stock advice. This is all for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before trading. Trading obviously comes with financial risk. All right, so stock market. This does not show the picture that we saw, right? SPY up almost 1% this week. The NASDAQ down 1.74%. Dow Jones up 1.8%. But what more shows the growth names that I trade is that FFTY, IBD top 50, that was down 4%. And we're getting a lot of flushes, some bounces. We got a bounce today on Friday. We'll see if that marks the low or we're just heading into a chop zone while a lot of the growth stocks kind of form up a base before hopefully getting going again. But growth stocks got hammered. We're going to need to give them some time before we trade them as breakouts. Myself, I'm a breakout trader, not a pullback buyer. So as a breakout trader, I am waiting for those bases to form up, for the average true range, for the volatility to tighten up, for price to tighten up, volume to get a little bit quieter before I make some moves. So if you're going to trade right now, I would be doing it with very small position sizing, only adding more exposure as you have profit, as you can roll up your stops to entry and then take more trades. That was something that I did Tuesday. At one point I was 20% invested because I had APPS working, a couple other names that I was able to move stops to entry on, so I could take new trades, keeping the risk on my portfolio the same without, or keeping the risk on my portfolio the same while increasing exposure. And the market went against that and got stopped out for even on some, got stopped at full stops, but on very small position sizes, and that kept me alive. All right, Tik Tok Trading Challenge. Not great, but down 9.25% on that account, down 18% now. on the year compared to my up 15% on the year and down 0.5% this week. If you're new to the channel, I do this TikTok trading challenge where every week I'll put a watch list out on Sunday morning. And then on Twitter, I give you guys a poll to choose from 4 of them. This week, I gave you DraftKings, Penn, LE, and APPS. And then whatever the open price is on Monday, I buy it there, sell it at the closing price on Friday using all the money that I make on TikTok. And then at the end of the year, if this account outperforms me on a weekly compounding basis, I'm giving the TikTok account away to people that drop their TikTok or Twitter handle in the video, in the comments of that video. So this week, you guys voted on DraftKings as your largest holding. That was good. It was down the least, down 6.2% from Monday's open, but I mean, all the growth stocks got hammered, so this one was not the voting fault. Oh, forgot to mention, we are almost closing in at the end of Q1. Once March is over, I will be giving away $100 for randomly to the people that comment on that video again. So the TikTok Trading Challenge video. So just leave your TikTok or Twitter handle in there, randomly selecting one winner for $100, and that should be at the end of March. So excited to give that out. Sunday's watch list, garbage, down 7.1% on the average trade. Only had one winner, 14 losers. Again, I came into this week saying this was truly just a watch list. Wasn't trying to come in, trade too much, but wanted to highlight the losers here. And that's something that I think is pretty unique to my channel. I'm going to be 100% transparent. You could go through all my other videos of the losing weeks, winning weeks, whatever I trade, I show you guys. I'll show you guys the breakouts, the big winners I get, but I'm the first one to show you my losers because one, that makes me have to go through the pain of reliving my entry price, my exit price, the losing trade, so I don't make mistakes again. But then also, if I lose money on a trade and you can learn something from my lost money, that's awesome. That let me pay your tuition in the market. So going to be 100% transparent with you guys, have been from the start, and will continue doing that. So Sunday's watch list, garbage. Wednesday watch list, not much better. Had UNFI up 11%, GPI 3.4%, but average loss was 7.5% there. 3 winners, 9 losers. SI down 25%. That really hurt the watch list, but that never went through the buy point that I covered in the video. Most of these stocks, actually, I think all these stocks didn't actually go up on Thursday. Everything just continued flushing. And if you follow the channel, you know I don't buy on the pullbacks. I buy on the breakouts over those resistance points. So I put my money in the market once there's already momentum on the name. And that helps me keep my win rate up and only buying when there's movement in my direction. So that's something that not a lot of people know. Everyone just is conditioned to buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But if you bought everything on the first dip and then everything pulled back another 40%, you just threw away a whole year of trading. So for me, I love selling the dip as quickly as possible. You'll see a couple of my losses, 3%, 5%, a couple over 5%. That was unfortunate, but very small position sizes. So paper hands right here. That's all I have. I want to get out as quickly as possible if things start working against me, and I'll keep cash on the sidelines until there's a clear market. All right, so current holdings, nothing. I am going into the weekend without any short positions, without any long positions. I closed my SQQQ close to the bottom today. I only had a partial position left because I was taking that off as some of my test buys were getting stopped out. So only had, I don't know, a 2% of my portfolio position size on that at the end, but did get out basically right at the bottom. You could check stock twits, called it out, and I was expecting a pretty large bounce because we've sold off so aggressively that you don't just sell off forever. But we're getting this bounce now. Is this retail money just coming in? And institutions are just waiting for it to come up to some 50-day moving averages so they can slug it down even further. That's my guess. Either way, I don't want to put money in the market until we get back into an uptrend, or we see some leading stocks get back over their 50-day moving average, get back over their 20, their 8 exponential, really start holding higher highs, and or at least firm up in a base, while some stocks break out and hold without me. So am I going to hit the bottom? No, absolutely not. I don't trade pullbacks, so I never expect to hit the bottom, but I let the market kind of shape out, find some support, tighten up, and then we'll trade the breakouts from there. So going into next week, I'm not planning on doing too much. If the market rips without me, then there's going to be great setups. If the market's back to being super strong, the next breakout's right around the corner. If it's just a head fake before pulling down further, well, I'm glad I didn't put more exposure on. So that's the way I'm attacking next week. Not planning on doing too much. All right, so let's go over the stocks that I did trade this week. So first we have ALTO. This was down. I lost 5.2% on the trade, so $76. I think this was a 2.5% position size. So typically when things are working well, I'm at a 10% position size on trades. This market has not been working well, so lowered that down to 2.5%. So if I do lose out on a trade, doesn't really affect me. I'm just kind of testing what works. This was a buy along with what was the AMTX. AMTX absolutely shot up over last Friday, I think it was. So thought money would start to move into here. Bought with the break over Tuesday's high, and you can see that just reversed. I took off half the trade at the close of the day just because I don't want to hold a losing trade, a full losing trade into the next day if I'm already down on the trade, especially in this kind of market. So cut half at the close just because I was being proven wrong, and then got stopped out of the rest as it slid further down. So 5.2%, I could take that loss. That's a typical loss, and good thing I cut it there because, I mean, who knows where I would have emotionally cut this trade off in these long lower wicks, probably. So I always stick to my stops, let the market tell me that I'm wrong, and just roll with that. Here's APPS. This was the one winning trade that wasn't the hedge, the SQQQ trade. Had an earlier trade that was a 2.5% loss. This one, again, really small position size, was up 5.8% on the trade. So came into this, it was up 104%, pulled back 22%, had this nice shakeout day last Tuesday. And that's when the next day I tried to trade it off the 20-day moving average. Got stopped out for a really small amount, 2.5% there. Put it on Friday after we made higher highs, higher lows, and took out the previous day's high. That was my buy point at 77.30. Sold some the next on Monday morning when we gapped up. Market was gapping up. I wanted to take some of the profit. The next day we broke out even higher. We broke the $100 barrier. Took a couple shares more off, and then got stopped out at even on the rest. So that's how I handled the trade. Selling some into strength during these really rough markets where growth's selling off, everything's selling off. The first couple trades that are going to work are going to be sold off because everyone just got taken into the cleaners. They're going to have to pay for their losses somehow. So they're going to be selling these winning trades a lot quicker. So I went into it knowing that, and I did the same. Probably should have taken off even more when it broke 100, but this was a break into all-time highs. If the market turned around at this point, I was going to be in one of the strongest leading stocks. So didn't want to take too much off there, and it was already such a small position size that just had to stop at even and let it come all the way down to hit that. Got more follow through on the downside on Friday, bounced at the 50-day, so we'll see where this one goes. Definitely one that I'll be watching in the future once the market bounces, but stopped it at even. Next, we have BW. This one was a 6% loss, $67. We had a move of 160% up, 24% down, had a really nice shakeout, and look at the volume when it pulled back. Extremely light volume, not many people getting in or out of here. Had this nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-day pivot point. Bought with the break over that high. And then next day we got some sideways action as the market was really pulling down. So relative strength was picking up on that sideways day. I was actually kind of excited because I assumed that the market would bounce shortly, and unfortunately not. Thursday, the market kept on selling off, and I got stopped out, full stop at 6% there. And the next day, it continued lower with a nice long lower wick to $6. So glad I sold it around 7 because that would have been another 14% down, and I don't take large losses. So it's BW. Next, we have CELH. This was a terrible fill by my trade, and that's what caused this. What was it? 7.4% loss. Typically, I want to keep losses around 5%, 6% at most. The 7%, 7.5% was just because I put my buy order in and people beat me to the race, got in before me. I bought up basically at the top here. Was trying to buy with the break over this high. After that got sold off, that false breakout. Had a really nice shakeout here, and we were basically a high tide flag, up 140%, down 26%, not too much, with a good shakeout there. Never closed under the 50-day, and then it was showing great relative strength while the market was selling off last week. So thought I'd try this with a little bit larger size than 2.5%. I think I was around 3 or 4% position size because I did take a $109 loss. Not great, but I mean that's a controlled loss, and I'll take controlled losses, especially while I have SQQQ in the bank, kind of paying for them. So that was CELH. Next we have FRHS. This is another one where I just got a bad fill. I was trying to buy over this lower pivot right through here around $57. Got filled at 58.77, so that was rough for sure. Saw these nice long or large green bars on the breakout days. So it looks like institutions were accumulating there and there. It only pulled back 18, 19% after a 90% move. So qualifies for that high tide flag that I like to trade. And this just right away reversed, stopped me out. My stop was at the low of the day and stopped me out a little bit lower than that. So that 8.3 loss, but I mean an $80 loss. Again, controlled the stop, controlled the position size, controlled the loss. Stayed alive to trade another day. Next, we have FUTU. This was up 470%, pulled back 28%, bounced at that 20-day moving average, set a higher high, higher low, and then opened lower, lower than the high. So I was trying to buy as it came over the previous day's high. I don't think it actually ever hit that. I think I entered the wrong price for my stop buy order because I got filled at 171.39, and that was not the high of the previous day. So either that never hit or I just put in the wrong stop price. And if so, shame on me. Should have been more diligent about that because I could have saved myself $37, but $37, I'm not going to sweat about that. But I mean, practice the fundamentals, the basics in practice, right? When there's not too much on the line. So when the market is firmed up, when we're putting real position sizes on, I don't make a mistake like that again. So, I mean, this one down 4.5%. I just put my stop at the low of the day during the day, and it pulled back from there, stopped me out. Again, another controlled loss, $40. Not bad. GPRE, I was up 1% on this, sold some into strength, got stopped this at break even or a little bit above break even. This is one that Leif was trading to. Up 120%, down 17%, bounced at that 20-day moving average, and looked to get out on volume. So was really happy that I got this because if the market wasn't working when I was putting this on. So if the market did come back and I was already in a stock that was showing great relative strength, that was going to jack up the price even higher. So fine with this trade. Controlled my stop, $10 gain. Woo! Next we have HOME. This is a 4.2% loss. Super small position size, so only a $42 loss. Up 93%. Pulled back and had this nice shakeout last Tuesday, I believe it was. Came up and broke not into an all-time high. Actually, It did break into an all-time high. I took it with a break over the previous high point through here. And then it got out maybe 2 or 3%, reversed lower, stopped me out at the low of the day for 4.2% loss. Again, controlling position size, controlling stops. You could take those losses. You don't want to take a bunch of paper cuts and kind of damage your ego that way, damage your confidence that way. But because I had SQQQ working, I could take some of these kind of practice buys, test buys, and for it not to really hurt my account. Only down 0.5% this week. INMD, this was on the breakout watch list. So this one, I mean, I was up 1% on it, $9, woohoo, right? But managed this really well. It was up 61%, pulled back through here. I took it on this diagonal resistance, kind of matches the high from this day. Got in at 71.80. Looks like it was coming out on good volume. Sold some into strength, moved my stop to even on the rest. And that's what you got to do in this type of market is if you're going to be right, you got to move your stop to even as quickly as you can. Or when things start working against you, you want to cut your losses as quickly as possible. So another one, didn't make much money, $9, but got a kind of free look at it if the market did bounce higher. INMD. And we are back to the start. So that's going to be the trading recap for the week. We were, sorry about this. That's going to be the trading recap of the week. We were down $244, but completely survived that sell-off. Thankfully, to defensive trading, to moving stops to even, taking some profit into strength, and having that SQQ. So if you were following me on StockTwits, Twitter, or TikTok, you know that I was coming into this week very light with exposure, playing very, very tough defense with my trading and not trying to do too much. And that's what you should be doing in a market like this, is not trying to play hero ball, just live to trade another day. And we were able to do that. Good or fun news, I think, is I will be starting a Trading 101 series with 3 of my friends who have never traded before. We're going to be paper trading using Webull and Thinkorswim, and I'll be teaching them completely from ground one. What's a daily candle chart, or what is a candle chart? What are the different types of buy and sell orders? And then each week we're going to try and put on a couple more rules to build out a trading rule book that anyone can follow. So if you had a rough 2 or 3 weeks here, they happen. Every trader, especially new traders, but every trader goes through rough patches. But if you're looking to kind of take a step back and learn the basics of trading, I'll have a video out next week, the first intro video to the Trading 101. So looking forward to that. And I'll see you guys Sunday for a watch list. I might kind of split that watch list up, half long positions, half short positions, because if we get a strong bounce on Monday, I will be looking into shorting a couple of the weaker names. All right, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.